Hey everybody, this is Jen. Welcome to the homestead and welcome to the channel. So today I am going to take you out and show you the hot mess that is our yard and garden areas. Yeah, it is a mess around here because we did a lot of tearing down last year before the winter came, and things have been left until we can clean them up later this spring. But I want to show you kind of what the potential is of what we are doing. And since the ground's still frozen in most areas, I can still walk around the property. In about a couple of weeks or so, the ground's going to be so soppy wet because of the thaw, I won't be able to walk around and show you guys much of anything. So follow me along right here on Garden Jen's Journey. Alright, so I'm going to turn you guys around. I'm going to show you the hot mess that is our yard and kind of explain to you what we are doing in those areas. Alright, so this is the most recent hot mess. This actually happened a couple of hours ago. This is the old apple tree that used to sit out next to my front garden area. It's an old wild apple, and the last few years it really hasn't produced any good fruit. Just a lot of diseased, wormy, just not good fruit. So we asked the landlord if we could cut it down because it's just not a good tree. A couple hours later, he showed up with a tractor and we cut it down. Alright, back here is one of our biggest hot messes. And this would be where our old chicken run was. I will post a link to the video of when we tore the coop out of here. We actually pulled it out. It was a trailer on wheels. So it actually got pulled out of here, and we're going to repurpose that. But back here in this area, once we get it cleaned up, and again, this is all here because we did it right before winter. But what we're going to do is, this is where my fruit trees are going to be. So I know it's kind of hard to see right now. But once this is cleaned up, this is going to be a fruit patch, and possibly I'll put some berries back here too. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'll know more once we get all of this material out of here. And most of it is reusable wood, like the shade coop area and stuff. And then some of it is just going to be put in our burn pile. But yeah, this hot mess will be something really, really cool this coming gardening season. Alright, so this is the hot mess that is left of my main garden area that I've had for the last, this is year 8 now here. Last year we let the garden rest for its 7th year sabbatical, and so nothing was planted in the ground at all for the 7th year. I did grow things in a bunch of pots and things like that, and then at the end of the year in the fall we went ahead and completely rototilled everything under. I typically do a no-till approach or a very low-till approach to gardening. That way it doesn't disturb the soil and the microorganisms and everything. But this fall of the 7th year, we went ahead and rototilled all the organic matter in so it could break down over the winter and then be ready to plant in this new year. You can see we have a lot of debris and stuff laying here from when we move things around. So these are the raspberry bushes I had transplanted here from somebody else's property. We're actually going to move these raspberries over along this fence line. This is south facing, so they're going to go along the south fence line here, so they're away from the greenhouse. And then we're going to put our trellis back here that will be an arbor where my grapes will grow over right here, and this will go back into the area where the fruit trees and stuff will be. You can see I have my winter sown jugs going on. This is just the beginning. I have a lot more to do, but this is where we're starting. Here are my fruit trees sitting in pots waiting to be planted. I have 2 apples and 2 peaches. I also have grapevines, and then in the greenhouse I have raspberries and blueberries. So I'm going to show you what my husband did for me so I can have some things out here in the greenhouse even though it is really cold overnight. So I did a short video on my husband building me a raised platform, a shelf basically. I have one here and then one over on this side. You can see kind of what it looks like in the raw form. And then, because we had the problem with the temperatures, he built me a box, an insulated box basically, just by putting this thick insulation board around what he already had here to create an enclosed box that I can use a smaller heater in, and it keeps it warm enough where my seedlings won't die. So I have here, these are peppers and sad looking tomatoes that got really leggy before I brought them out. But these are peppers and tomatoes and things like that that has started indoors, because these are for the farmer's market, so they need to be a little bit bigger than the ones that I typically winter sow. But yeah, so these guys would definitely not survive it being 30 degrees or even colder, because peppers and tomatoes and your nightshades are tropical loving plants. So I put them underneath in our warming box, and I have them sitting on heat mats right now, and those heat mats go right with them into the warming box there, so they stay at least at 38 to 40 degrees when it gets down into the teens. If it's 25 or 30 at night, it stays almost 60 degrees in that box there. So that's how I've been keeping those alive. And then these little guys here, these are blueberries and some grapes that have already germinated. I put these little guys down in there too, because they cannot take that cold temperature. These bigger guys I just cover with my row cover. This is a frost row cover that keeps them just a few degrees warmer, so they don't necessarily get too immensely cold. But this problem that I'm talking about is why I do winter sowing. You saw the jugs outside. This here is over 200 gallon jugs that my community members saved for me, that I use to grow my seedlings in. 90% of the plants that I grow for my home and for selling at the farmer's market are grown in these gallon jugs. You know, when you put them outside, they grow when the temperatures tell them it's time. And then you don't have to worry about trying to grow these things indoors and then move them back and forth into a place that's warm so they don't freeze to death. Which is why I am an avid winter sower. So that's what this hot mess is. I have this many jugs that I need to do for warm months, the warmer crops, and I am kind of at a quandary right now. I will show you. I have almost no soil left. So my husband has to get me some more soil so I can fill these jugs up. It takes me 1 bag of Pro Mix that I usually use, or 2 bags of Happy Frog, which I used to use and still highly recommend. We'll do about 60 to 70 of these jugs, depending on how full you fill them, just to give you guys an idea. I also have my rose right here, still hanging in there. And then got some lettuce that I'm starting to grow and things like that. Okay, so So that is the hot mess that is my yard and garden spaces right now. Not looking very pretty, but when you see how ugly it is now, it helps you really appreciate what is to come in the near future. I'm so excited. How about you? So I thank you for being with me today as we toured the homestead, and you saw how dirty it can be when you move from one project to another in haste. But I just thank you again for being with me, and I hope it gives you some inspiration on how you can turn an ugly space into something usable where you can grow your own food. Because being more self-sufficient is going to help you in the long run, especially with skyrocketing food prices. So thanks again for being with me today. And I hope wherever you are wonderfully blessed. So until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.